She was talking about how Dan Hooker wouldn't shut up about the Super Bowl for weeks leading up. For weeks. And then when it came game day, all he wanted to watch was the halftime show. I woke up today and I was seeing a bunch of news about Dan Hooker supposedly maybe making a cameo in that popular hockey show that Sean Strickland was talking about, Heated Rivalry, that supposedly Dan Hooker cheated on his girlfriend. I was like, wait a minute. I kept reading and it was like, Dan Hooker cheated on his girlfriend with his wife. I was like, is this like a Ian Gary type of situation? I was trying to piece it together. Like, Dan Hooker's cheating on his girlfriend with his wife. He has a wife, but he's cheating on his girl. Oh, he has a side piece. He's cheating on his side piece with his wife, but no, it's also with the dude. Supposedly. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the room. It was weird because Dan Hooker's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, she was coming out talking about how she used to work at this place called the Booty Club. And she was talking as if, I mean, at the very least, she was a stripper, but she was kind of like equating herself to like a prostitute. She was basically saying that Dan Hooker liked, she actually said this, that Dan Hooker liked playing the role of Captain Save, you know, I wanna be saved, Captain Saver. You know, and I'm not even lying. This isn't even a joke. I swear this ain't even a joke. We're talking about Dan Hooker and then this girl that was like a prostitute that he got out the club, got off the streets. And then I found out he has a wife and I looked up the wife's name and her last name was Hooker. And I was like, wait a minute, Hooker, prostitute Hooker, what's going on? And I was like, oh, it's because his name's Dan Hooker and he's married. I forgot. And I was very confused. Dan Hooker was cheating on his prostitute girlfriend with his wife, who's also a hooker. But she's only a hooker though. She's only a hooker, though, because of her last name, because of marriage. So that's not fair. I don't know if any of you were following this story. I don't know if I'm just breaking the news to you right now. There are screenshots that Dan Hooker's prostitute girlfriend was showing. And she was showing screenshots and stuff that said something about the URL, the website link said something about Kiwi swingers. And I don't know if that's a pun. I don't know if it's because these dudes are out there swinging their kiwis or what. I don't know if it's because they're kiwis, because of where they're from, or if it's a physical act of swinging kiwis. I don't know. Maybe it's both. And they were having a back and forth that was, I mean, I had to cover my Tío Beto's eyes as I was reading it. It was some obscene stuff in nature that I cannot repeat here. It was saying some twisted. So, I mean, Sean Strickland will be beside himself, bro. Now we have to consider that maybe, I mean, things could be Photoshopped. Look at Transformers. Look at Endgame, Avengers. Look at Lord of the Rings. People could CGI stuff and Photoshop stuff. Who knows? Maybe he broke up with his girlfriend because he thought, you know what? I feel like me and my wife are in this phase of life. I think it's time to maybe be a little more committed. You know what? I think it's time in mine and my wife's relationship. I think maybe it's time to be faithful and monotonous with each other. So like maybe she raged out. I want to make sure that I cover that I'm not just going to Me Too this guy. Or somebody made the joke the other day. I can't remember who it was. I'm not going to take credit for it. Someone made the joke that it shouldn't be. Was it I think it might have been Kevin Nealon actually. They were like, why do they call him Me Too? It should be Him Too. Hey, look, Him Too. Him Too. But the girlfriend was accusing him of cheating on her with his wife and with the dude. She showed all this footage, showed the screenshot, showed his profile on Kiwi Swingers and all the obscene conversation. And she's saying, I tried to leave him a bunch of times. I didn't even want to be with him. He was cheating on me constantly. He was cheating on me and his wife and his boyfriend constantly. And that she actually had a list. You know how when people have like a list for their birthday or for their wedding or whatever and everyone could pick what they want? She actually made a list that she shared with him in the Google Cloud that every time he cheated on her, he had to get her something from that list to get back in her good graces. And that's what she referred to as her underpants. That's the term of endearment, her good graces. That's what he had to do every time he wanted to come back around. That's the kind of arrangement that they had. That's the life that he was living. Basically what's happening is she's accusing him of being a homosexual. She's trying to make Israel Adesanya look like the straightest dude in the gym. And that's a task. That's an uphill task. Imagine these two dudes. Bro, Staff is the least of your worries at that point. Staff is a head cold. Staff is 2-3 days off of work at that point. That's the least of your troubles. So I was about to upload this video, and then I remembered something. And I had to come back right here and make sure that I recorded this part for you because I don't want to leave out any context. Do you remember? It just came back to my beanie right now. Do you remember a while ago when Israel Adesanya was having some troubles with his lady and she was threatening him? She was trying to blackmail him. I can't remember the exact wording. You might have to Google it, but she was saying something like, and I paraphrase, she was telling him, I'm going to reveal your dirty little secrets. I'm going to tell people about you if you don't do this, that, and so on and so forth and etc. She was telling him and the public that she had some kind of dirt on him and that she was going to expose him, and possibly quite literally. And now I can't help but think, and look, I'm not making a claim. I'm just saying maybe. I'm over here like Buddy Holly. I'm saying maybe, baby, maybe. I'm not saying it's a certainty. I'm saying maybe. Israel Adesanya was also on Kiwi swingers. Israel Adesanya and Dan Hooker could have been swinging them Kiwis together for all we know. They could have been swinging them. You know those little things like for the, I forget what it's called, like when you're doing math. You know, did any of you ever had that math teacher where you pull the ball back and they swing and they clank into each other? That's what Israel Adesanya and Dan Hooker had going on. Allegedly. And then she was talking about how she started to put the pieces together, you know? She's like, why is this dude training in Thailand so much? Why is he training in Thailand so much? Why does he care so much about being part of the Tiger Muay Thai Club? Why does he always want to go to Thailand? I don't understand it. They said something like the most beautiful ladies in the world are dudes from Thailand. She was talking about how Dan Hooker wouldn't shut up about the Super Bowl for weeks leading up. For weeks. And then when it came game day, all he wanted to watch was the halftime show. She was talking about how he was talking about for weeks leading up, how he wouldn't stop obsessing over the Olympics, how he was so patriotic and whatnot. And then when the Olympics came around, all he wanted to do was watch the luge. He just kept rewinding it over and over again. She started to put the pieces together. There was one last one. I didn't hear her mention this, but I thought about it. And I think it's very serious. And look, ladies and gentlemen, this is no laughing matter. This is serious. I started to think about the things that she was puzzling together, and I started to do some of my own legwork. And I made an interesting connection. Thailand. Tiger Muay Thai. What's this dude up to? And I made a connection that I thought was dark. Dan the Hangman Hooker. Is he trying to leave breadcrumbs? Is he trying to give us clues? Is this a cry for help? Dan the Hangman Hooker. Does that ring a bell? You know who else they refer to as the Hangman? David Carradine died from accidental asphyxiation in Thailand, in a Bangkok hotel room in June 2009, found hanging with the cord around his neck, though his family's medical examiner ruled out suicide, suggesting erotic asphyxiation accident during a sensual activity involving autoeroticism. Now, supposedly, autoeroticism, I don't know, Carradine was doing something with his vehicle. I don't know if Dan Hooker's into that type of stuff. But I'm just talking about Tiger Muay Thai, Thailand, the Hangman. This is a cry for help. This is no laughing matter. This is no time for memes. This is no time for jokes and ha-has. This is a serious cry for help. Supposedly Dan Hooker's girlfriend called him one last time, and she was trying to give him a chance. She was trying to allow him the opportunity to make things right. She calls him, he picks up the phone, and immediately he says,
"You ever seen a grown man naked?"
It's over. It's a wrap. Maybe an interesting excerpt to add to the conversation.
For the first time.
I seen him yesterday. He's not that bad looking.
I mean, look, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I'm just saying, when you supplement it, when you start to put the pieces together, you just start to think of everything. You know, people, we all do this in our own lives. Once one little thing happens, you start to go, and you start reverse engineering.
For the first time.
I seen him yesterday. He's not that bad looking.
I just feel like normally when dudes are fighting, it's not typical it's not typical for them to focus on their opponent's physical looks and features and if they're good looking or not. That's all. This may not be the most earth-shattering thing, but I just felt like it was interesting to add to the conversation. So when I was watching the footage today, I saw this. Something about this photo reminded me of something else. And I was like, why do I feel this way? And then I found it. I remembered. And it was this moment right here from the movie Clueless. Bro, I don't know if you've seen the movie Clueless. I don't know if you remember like look, now I know everyone's on different parts of the fence right here, all right? Some people will hear he's gay and they're like, bro, ha, gay, you know, and then there's other people that were like, you know, everyone's all over the place. I'm just saying, this dude is being accused of these certain things. And it looks like he's cosplaying that gay dude that was trying to date Cher. Or maybe, I don't even think he was just trying to be besties in the movie Clueless. He's literally cosplaying that dude. He's wearing the same fit. Even look at his hands. Look at his hands by his wrists. How they let, you know how, they like to, like chicks, how they like to let the sleeves hang like that. He's doing the same. I mean, down to the dickies, bro. Everything. And I just thought, again, just like the photo where he's like saying Benoit Denise, he's like, he's not that bad looking of a guy. I guess I never gave him a good once over before. He ain't that bad looking. You just sprinkle in little things like this. It's just anecdotal. That's it. It's just anecdotal. I might be crazy. It might not mean anything. I just thought it was interesting. I just thought it would be something interesting to share. And now it's your responsibility. You do with that information what you will. I'm just here to share.